Before we begin, I have to inform you of two things. First, I used Naval's podcast to generate this AI audio for you to have a better listening experience. Second, I consumed a ton of Naval's content. All of his tweets, podcasts, interviews, kaleidoscope video calls, voice messages on air chat, and every single quote is hand-selected by me. Now enjoy this video, click like and save it if you need reviews in the future. For you to believe that something is true, it should have predictive power, and it must be falsifiable. Trading is negative sum, tax inefficient, only works with insider knowledge. Long-term investing is positive sum, tax efficient compounding. Same ending for everyone. Scientific truth is reproducible, falsifiable, and has predictive power. Under no circumstances you should go to college. I don't want to push you out of Canada, but I will say that where you live is the single most important decision you make in your life. The people you date and marry, where you raise your kids, your quality of the water you drink, the air that you breathe, the people that you hang out with, the ideas that you're exposed to, the political system that you're in, the places that you walk, all of this is downstream of where you live. Where you are physically in the world is the single most important decision you make. The real world is dull. Dullness doesn't sell ads, so the media manufactures a continuous stream of outrage to fill the void. Sports, video games, porn, news are low ROI dopamine addictions. We have them, but should aspire to life without them. Networking is overrated. Become first and foremost a person of value, and the network will be available whenever you need it. Ignorance is bliss, intelligence is suffering. The fundamental delusion: there is something out there that will make me happy and fulfilled forever. An angry mob can kill an individual, each member absolved of the responsibility of dealing the killing blow. Online mobs are no different. Political parties are nearly indistinguishable from religions. We need separation of church and state. Religion, politics, and sports are all based on identity. That's why it's nearly impossible to have a meaningful discussion about them. One day, we'll wonder how we had free speech and free markets without freed networks and freed currencies. A taste of freedom can make you unemployable. If the primary purpose of school was education, the internet should obsolete it, but school is mainly about credentialing. It's the mark of a charlatan to try and explain simple things in complex ways. It's the mark of a charlatan to try and explain simple things in complex ways, and it's the mark of a genius to explain complicated things in simple ways. If you're desensitized to the fact that you're going to die, consider it a different way. As far as you're concerned, this world is going to end. Now what? Following your genuine intellectual curiosity is a better foundation for a career than following whatever is making money right now. Objectively, the world is improving. To the elites, it's falling apart as their long-lived institutions are flattened by the internet. A personal metric. How much of the day is spent doing things out of obligation rather than out of interest? You don't get rewarded for doing things you can be trained to do, because if you can be trained to do them, so can someone else. A Naval. Read the greats in math, science, philosophy. Ignore your contemporaries in news. Avoid tribal identification. Truth above social approval. A taste of freedom can make you unemployable. The person best at doing something will get to do it for the entire world. Davi 504, El Estepario, Siberiano. The way to forget the insults is not taking the compliments in the first place. Pick 3 hobbies, one that makes you money, one that keeps you fit, and one that keeps you creative. Marriage and cities to live in and jobs to work will make a huge impact, so you should spend 1 or 2 years thinking about it. In terms of making difficult decisions, if you cannot decide, then the answer is no. Indifference is the ultimate superpower. Not wanting something is as good as having it. The fundamental delusion: there is something out there that will make me happy and fulfilled forever. Desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. It's the mark of a charlatan to try and explain simple things in complex ways, and it's the mark of a genius to explain complicated things in simple ways. Objectively, the world is improving. To the elites, it's falling apart as their long-lived institutions are flattened by the internet. Happiness is a state where nothing is missing. Each man has two lives. The second one begins when you realize you only have one. As humans, we treat this death as if it's something that only happens to other people but are not us. Escape competition through authenticity. Sing the song that only you can sing, write the book that only you can write, build the product that only you can build, live the life that only you can live. The reality is life is a single-player game. You're born alone. You're going to die alone. All of your interpretations are alone. All your memories are alone. You're gone in 3 generations and nobody cares. Before you showed up, nobody cared. It's all single-player. The best way, perhaps the only way to change others, is to become an example. If it entertains you now, but will bore you someday, it's a distraction. Keep looking. Retirement is when you stop sacrificing today for an imaginary tomorrow. When today is complete, in and of itself, you're retired. Read the greats in math, science, and philosophy. Ignore your contemporaries and news. Avoid tribal identification. Put truth above social approval. Equanimity. Mental calmness. What you do, who you do it with, and how you do it are way more important than how hard you work. The person best at doing something in the world is going to get to do it for the entire world. We try and make every good experience repeatable and then run away from the resulting boredom. Happiness is evident more by its absence than by its presence. Naval Quotes. As humans, we treat this death as if it's something that only happens to other people but are not us. In terms of making difficult decisions, if you cannot decide, then the answer is no. The way to forget the insults is not taking the compliments in the first place. Pick 3 hobbies, one that makes you money, one that keeps you fit, and one that keeps you creative. We had a war on drugs and drugs won. What if this life is the paradise we were promised and we're just squandering it? Perhaps we are in a simulation that's designed to rewind and take another fork every time we destroy ourselves. Would explain luck to date. You can get almost anything you want out of life, as long as it's one thing, and you want it far more than anything else. Read history. Mao, Stalin, Castro, Pol Pot, Che, Chavez, tens of millions. You get paid for being right first, and to be first, you can't wait for consensus. When working, surround yourself with people more successful than you. When playing, surround yourself with people happier than you. Rent control and minimum wage ease pain for many, but ultimately reduce housing and eliminate jobs. But it's meaningless because science isn't done by consensus. Politics is done by consensus. Any theory not falsifiable is ultimately a belief, includes left and right. Humility is good. A democracy with a draft for all citizens, no exceptions, and mandatory service for politicians and their children would fight less wars. Move to a startup hub and join volunteer with an angel, VC, or startup. Be worthy of a worthy spouse. Charlie Munger. Find someone whose values line up with yours, that you're attracted to. When building a startup, microeconomics is fundamental. Macroeconomics is entertainment. I can neither confirm nor deny. Everything is more beautiful because we're doomed. You will never be lovelier than you are now, and we will never be here again. More naval quotes. Scientists who support silencing opposing voices are actually priests. All tyranny begins with the desire to coerce others for the greater good. Evolution works by mutation and selection. Innovation works by trial and error. Science works by conjecture and criticism. Free markets work by entrepreneurship and risk. All truth-seeking systems work roughly the same way. Free people make free choices. Free choices mean you get unequal outcomes. You can have freedom or you can have equal outcomes. You can't have both. If you have to take a long journey, you must carry very little. If you want to climb to a great height, you must travel light. Krishnamurti. Seems like too many people, public and private sector, are making a living slicing the pie rather than baking it. Clear thinker is a better compliment than smart. Don't know. Seems that most true learning comes from self-motivation. IMHO, teaching is overrated. Everyone plays their role, wears their costume. That's the glue they use to connect one day to the next. The set of problems to solve is infinite because the entropy to reverse is infinite. Humanity is Sisyphus pushing against the Big Bang. 3 kinds of social graphs. Follow Twitter, share, email, friend FB with different privacy, quality, and growth trade-offs. Note to world, 95% of what you want to meet for can be easily handled in a 5-minute email exchange. Be efficient. The government is best, which governs least. Naval, Jan 20, 2011. Email addresses are to technology companies as physical addresses are to non-tech companies. No closed system will replace email, thank God. Naval, Nov 19, 2010. Rumors of the death of email are highly exaggerated. I know I'm old because I've been hearing these for a decade. Iceland was in worse shape than Ireland, but ended up far better off since it let private banks fail. Advice to younger self: be exactly who you are. Holding back means staying in bad relationships and bad jobs for years instead of minutes. America's public servants are now its masters. Old saying is that little people talk about people and big people talk about ideas. What does that say about Twitter v. Facebook users? If you want to see who a man really is, give him power. My one repeated learning in life: there are no adults. Everyone's making it up as they go along. Figure it out yourself and do it. Men are the means, women are the motive. Least understood but most important principle for anyone claiming science on their side: falsifiability. Everything the Fed has been doing makes sense if you think of their goal as transferring wealth from taxpayers to banks. Overheard from an impressive guy: I'm not doing a startup because I'm ready, I'm just unqualified to work at a real company. Lest we forget, a Russian immigrant reminds us that although greed might drive capitalism, envy drives socialism. Michael Moore says that capitalism is evil. In that case, why doesn't he make his movie available for free? Watching Iran, it's quite obvious why the Second Amendment exists. Those who want pacifism should realize that it leads to prolonged tyranny. The whole reason that capitalism works is that it makes you fire your best friend. Kevin Laws. You are strong only where you were broken. Buy into a company that even a moron could run, because one day one will. Charlie Munger. Social approval is the enemy of clear thinking. Technology improves quality of life more than anything else, and it's not even close. Resist censorship. Resist lawfare. Resist disarmament. Everything else is downstream. The most dangerous religion is the world is ending. I don't want to push you out of Canada, but I will say that where you live is the single most important decision you make in your life. The people you date and marry, where you raise your kids, your quality of the water you drink, the air that you breathe, the people that you hang out with, the ideas that you're exposed to, the political system that you're in, the places that you walk, all of this is downstream of where you live. Where you are physically in the world is the single most important decision you make. The quality of your mind is the quality of your life. Build specific knowledge where you are, a natural. From religion to belief, rapture, singularity, Maya, illusion, simulation theory, God, artificial general intelligence, astrology, Myers-Briggs, prayer, meditation, creation myth, Big Bang, predestination, materialism. People who live far below their means enjoy a freedom that people busy upgrading their lifestyles can't fathom. Knowledge is a skyscraper. You can take a shortcut with a fragile foundation of memorization or build slowly upon a steel frame of understanding. Retirement starts when you stop sacrificing today for some imaginary tomorrow. Timeless. Science, math, philosophy, rhetoric, first principles, creating art and business, family and lifelong friends, habits to calm the mind and body, temporary, politics, news, entertainment, memorizing facts, hourly work, transactional relationships, drugs and doctors for mind and body. In physical domains, diet, workouts, consistency is king. In intellectual and social domains, wins are rare, sudden, and nonlinear. 99% of effort is wasted. Once we find our ideal spouse, career, friends, we realize how much time we squandered by not moving on sooner. The three big decisions: what you do, where you live, and who you're with. Clear thinkers take feedback from reality, not society. Sing the song that only you can sing. Write the book that only you can write. Build the product that only you can build. Live the life that only you can live. I don't know if this generation is the first mortal generation or the last one before we blow ourselves up. Same way that eating animals will only become appalling when lab-grown meat tastes better and carries more nutrition than the real thing. The best relationships are the ones that take the least effort. You make the other person happy being yourself. They make you happy by being themselves. Everyone is honest, and no one is putting on an act that they can't carry on for the next decade. Modern society will shame you for earning money, shame you for being happy, shame you for being raised well, shame you for having children, and ultimately shame you for existing. It isn't just religion that controls you by declaring you a sinner. We have Paleolithic minds, medieval institutions, and gold-like technology. If you can't be present with the coffee, then you can't be present with the yacht. If you can't decide, the answer is no.